a Build Hatch developed production.
Hello, I'm Aaron Kyle and welcome to another episode of Build Hatch. On this week's episode, I had the opportunity to sit down with building company Smartview Building. Paul Smart is a partner in Smartview Building who carries out construction along the Central Coast, Leighton, Macquarie and Newcastle regions. I really enjoyed this week as Paul talks about forgetting about the competition and focusing on your own strengths as a builder. And from the people I work with, I can tell you that's very important. You'll also hear from a chat that Paul and his partner recognised early on that they were going to run their business to their strengths and outsource the other things that others may be better at. And this is an important strength when it comes to running your own construction business. You need to quickly learn what you're good at and learn to ask for help or outsource the things that you may not be good at. What an insightful chat with Paul Smart from Smartview Building. Let's get into it. Paul Smart from Smartview Building, welcome to Build Hatch.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. Now, like all our guests on Build Hatch, we always take it back to the beginning, and your business is obviously called Smartview Building. So before we talk about your wonderful business, let's take it back to the beginning. So whereabouts did you grow up?
Mate, not far from where we are today in Eleabana, over at Speers Point.
So Speers Point, Eleabana is part of, I guess, Lake Macquarie
Correct,
region.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, I'm a lake boy, so to speak. Love living around the lake, love growing up around the lake. My parents still live in the house I grew up in. We were just there yesterday kicking the footy around the backyard with my kids. So I like the fact that we're still in the area.
So you had that typical great Aussie outdoor lifestyle growing up with water sports and kicking the footy in the backyard.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to sort of, I guess my parents afforded me the opportunity to play a lot of different sports and got to meet a lot of different people and did all that growing up and grew up on an acreage at Speers Point and backed up onto the hills, so cubby houses and, playing in the bush and all that was part of my growing up. So it was good.
So were you like a practical kid growing up?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I've always been practical, well organised, like structure, stuff like that, yeah.
So growing up, going to high school, did you set out to have like a certain career or aspire for anything?
The construction industry, I think, always was my focus. I did some work experience early days with electricians and plumbers and stuff like that. But it soon sort of became evident that the construction industry was where I wanted to be in sort of more of a builder's type role. I took an interest in property development from an early age. I've always loved everything property development. So whilst I didn't know where I'd end up, I always knew that it is where I wanted to end up in some way.
So I guess coming out of high school, I guess you had that early work experience. Did you sort of apply for a trade out of high school or what did you do from there?
No, so from about year 10 onwards or from when I could work, I sort of did labouring work and bits and pieces for different tradesmen around the area. Carpet layers, electricians, like I said, carpenters and stuff like that. That sort of got me to a point where I ended up going to year 12. Got a mark to qualify for uni, which has seen me go and do the construction management degree as soon as I left uni. So that got me in there and I kept sort of working for different people while I did uni as well. So did uni, for 4 years and worked for different people. That's sort of got my start in the industry.
Did you work for builders throughout uni when you were studying that bachelor?
I did, yeah. So Leighton contractors took me on. I sort of did a bit of a door knock for all the bigger builders around town because that's where I saw me heading at that point in time. Leighton, I was lucky in I think the first year of uni, Leighton got in touch with me after sort of approaching them and took me on as like a young cadet and worked on a project over at Edgeworth Town Mall for about 18 months as like the kick around glorified Boy Friday kind of role, photocopying plans, doing everything at the lower end of the spectrum. But it was important to get me where I am today because
you don't think it at the time, but that's where you realise down the track how much you got to learn during doing that sort of work. Don't you?
Yeah. And it sounds a bit sucky, I guess, a little bit for lack of a better word, but it makes me see the importance of getting the guys that we've got starting out in the industry to do those mundane tasks. That's where I started, and I learned a lot about how to fold plans and how to send them out to people and the information that people look at on plans. that's important, and take it for granted today, those little bits of information, but it's what you learn at the very first sort of introduction to the industry, if that makes sense.
It does. And I had Leighton, who was this great site manager from Built, on the show previously, and he was talking about how important it is. Your role on site starts with a broom.
Yeah.
So cleaning the site, making sure your work area is tidy and clean, and that's your sort of starting point.
Yeah. And that's a foundation. I think having a clean site, just talking about that a little bit more, clean site's a foundation for having a sort of a good business. You or me, or if a client or a trade comes onto your site for the first time and it's messy and untidy and unorganised, it says a lot for your business, doesn't it?
Yeah, first impressions count.
Yeah. But no, just doing stuff in the early days with Leighton contractors, learning how to read plans, doing all that low level kind of stuff, really helped me to sort of get to where I am today, I guess, because I had some good guys that I work with there that had a lot of experience. Derek Helps was one of them. He was a contract administrator and taught me some really old school things around contract administration and how to manage contracts and get the best out of your subbies and things that should be in contracts and shouldn't be and stuff like that. So
I think that's important, because when you sort of look at, I guess, the construction industry, and if you look at, say, the residential market, there's a certain expertise of skill level.
Yep.
What you don't see or hear about, and when you mention Leighton's, or I mentioned Build, or these larger builders that are working on multi-million-dollar site, there's actually this other skill set and expertise that you don't see in those guys that you said, those contract administrators or the contract managers, even the project managers, the site managers. There's a whole different skill level of things that you don't see or hear about.
Yeah, I guess the everyday person, the term builder is used to describe a whole different range of people. A builder is a guy building a $20 million apartment complex in the middle of Melbourne, or they're also the guy building a deck in the back of Barna for, a retired couple. So, yeah, it is interesting. And what's also interesting is how many different consultants and different industries also play a part in a builder's life.
That's right. All right, so you were working away with Leighton's. What did you do after that?
So that project over at Edgeworth sort of went for a couple of years, and that sort of helped me get most of the way through uni. And then that sort of dried up, and there was the opportunities with Leighton's was sort of in a state. So I was lucky enough to get a job with a company called Stronix, who had a strong reputation in Newcastle at the time as being a good mid-tier sort of builder. So I took that up, and that sort of got me the rest of the way through uni and a little bit beyond. But so I was an assistant project manager over there. Got to work on some pretty cool projects. Greater Building Society head office redevelopment over at Hamilton. Hunter Waters' current head office in Honeysuckle, things like that. Yeah.
So
good.
Those large sort of commercial projects with a lot of activity going on site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of trades, a lot of activity, a lot of bigger trades. And very different to what we're doing today, but certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I certainly take my hat off to those guys that run those sites where you've got, say, 100 people on site at any one time. It's just, it's a busy day.
Yeah, I think some of those foremen for some of those bigger companies looking after those bigger sites are some of the more skilled blokes in our industry.
Yeah, and I think that's why you find a lot of those guys, they have that long-term loyalty because they are very well-respected guys.
Yeah.
They're man managers and they get the job done. And they're the guys. It's similar to I guess if I could use an analogy of like an hourglass, where they're that point in the middle where all the friction is. You've got upper management up the top, the workforce or the trades on site, and they're pushing their friction sort of uphill, and you're right in the middle. So those guys, they get looked after, but they have a really incredible job.
Yeah, that's right. I see it exactly the same. Not too dissimilar to a builder taking on the role of a big custom architectural home. He's the man, and I think the foreman for a big commercial company is the same sort of has the same sort of role.
Wears a similar hat.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul. So you're plodding along, working on these larger commercial projects. Where did the concept of Smartview Building come into the mix?
I guess I've always had a bit of a passion for renovating my own home. and I always enjoyed that sort of thing. So in the back of my mind, I always wanted to end up there, but the journey to get there, I sort of, whilst it was a little bit long-winded, it sort of every step of the way played a pretty important role in giving me confidence to, be able to do what we're doing today.
Now, looking back, and we won't skip over this, but looking back, did you ever think that you would end up working for yourself?
Yeah, I think it was always the end game. Like, whilst I took a lot out of all the different people and businesses that I worked for along the way, I did always have my own view on how I thought things should be done and how I'd like to try and do it for myself one day. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, I did.
And when did the actual concept for Smartview Building come into it?
Look, I met my current business partner, Dan, probably 7 or 8 years ago now, and quickly came to realise that, Daniel's sort of one of the best tradesmen I'd come across in all those years of working in the industry. Daniel kind of had a similar dream or vision to mine, and yeah, I feel quite privileged to have Dan on our team and be doing what we're doing. Yeah.
Had you been mates before that, or did you just start off working as colleagues and then?
Yeah, so we sort of crossed paths in a professional sense, I guess, to start with, but we soon struck up a friendship and the conversation over a few beers. And
is that how it started? Like, you just sort of, I mean, there will be people listening to this thinking, particularly in the construction industry, where reading between the lines, you have, say, someone who's maybe been to university, they've got the tertiary qualifications, they've done the practical experience as well, but you're kind of the if you want to break it down, if you like, the theory-based side of construction.
Yep.
You then go out and get that practical side to top it up.
Yep.
But then there's a lot of guys who come straight through the practical side where they might get an apprenticeship in carpentry, become a carpenter. And then so there's this really good opportunity to combine heads and develop that into a business.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Dan and I are both of the opinion that typically, I guess, a builder is someone who has come through the carpentry ranks, learned how to quickly project manage, and then dealt with the paperwork side of things after that. So I feel builders have always been about doing good quality, doing good work, but the paperwork and the business side of things has always finished second. And Dan and I sort of want to take the approach, or are taking the approach in our business, where every aspect of the business is just as important. So if Dan was to be running his own business, he probably wouldn't be doing everything as good as he could be. If I was running my own business, there'd be things that I'd be good at and other things that I wouldn't be good at. But together we just can tick all the boxes for clients. So
it's really good when you can break it down into what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and to have that other person who can step up and take those roles. And
for example, we're recording this today, and I know Dan's out there taking care of the sites, which is good. And to expand on what you said a little bit further, it's what we enjoy. We're doing things in the business that we both enjoy. Dan will tell you, if you ever meet him, that he knew he was going to be a carpenter from when he was a kid. He loved building stuff. He had the world's biggest cubby house, and he loves doing it today. He's probably out there teaching our apprentices some traditional way of cutting in skirting or something. And I enjoy this side of the business. I enjoy promoting our business. I enjoy getting the process and the systems right. I get a kick out of meeting new people and meeting the clients and understanding what they want from their dream home. Really enjoy it. So I think it's important that both Dan and I are both doing and enjoying what we're good at.
Yeah, that's critical in any business, is just making sure you enjoy it and go home every day satisfied.
Exactly, yeah. We've both got young families, so splitting the responsibilities of being a builder in this day and age into two just affords us the opportunity to spend a lot more time with our family. Yeah.
And it's also important because there's so many carpenters who do take that step and they step up and become a builder, and they soon realise that they've gone from 80% on the tools to 20% in the office to all of a sudden 80% in the office, 20% on site.
Yep.
And they've realised why they got into the industry in the first place.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think it's you get to a certain point as a let's call it a more traditional builder who's come through that journey of the trade background, where you realise you need more education or more support or more help. I I guess typically the wife will come in and try and help, and they'll do a
Correct.
great job running the books and stuff like that. Then I'm not saying we're better than people that do it that way. We're just running things a bit differently and are happy with how
And it's what works.
It's what works for us. Yeah, both our wives have their own careers, and we've obviously got families as well. So not having them in the business to an extent is helpful to our family life.
You're able to achieve that better balance, if
Correct.
you like.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep it
Yep.
separated.
And like you say, it doesn't work for some, but it does work for us.
So you had those early conversations, and we're talking about the business.
Yep.
Where did you go from there? How did you sort of map it out?
So Dan and I just joined forces one day back in, I think, 2014, and we sort of set out with a view to get out there, take on sort of whatever comes our way, and see where it leads.
Did you have sort of any contacts in the early days, like an
We did, I
architect
guess.
or-
Yeah. So, mate, I guess the benefit of me coming from where I had come from, I'd met a lot of the architects in the industry over the years, formed relationships with them, and sort of had that sort of spin. Was able to have that social conversation with them where, hey, mate, if you've got any opportunities coming up, we'd be happy to have a look. And that didn't get us anywhere to start with. Someone might have sent us, I've got a little deck here or there. Or
It takes time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does take time.
I think it reminds me of those early days when you're so keen to get going. You talk to your wife, you've got all your stationery or your marketing material, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And you're so eager, and it just takes time.
I'll never forget the first day. It was the first job that we'd picked up. Someone had rung us about knocking out an old chimney in the house, and we quoted $495. I hooked the trailer up to the back of our Subaru Forester. I went out and bought a little fluoro shirt. So I looked the part, and we went out and we knocked it down. And I don't know, it sounds corny, but that was a pretty proud day.
Oh, it's the little moments
Yeah.
like that. You've just got your first job.
Yeah.
You've done a good job of it.
Yeah.
High fives.
Yeah. And that client's still a client of ours today.
And isn't it true? Like, and people need to be reminded that you can meet someone today or do a small little job tomorrow. It's amazing how long that long-standing relationship can go, even to their extended network.
Yep. It's funny you might say that, because we went on to do quite a large job, house renovation, dream home, so to speak, for some long-term friends of ours, Brendan and Karen. And while we were doing that, we realised that Karen had a bit of a flair for interior design. Being two guys running a building business, we realised we're probably lacking a little bit of design sort of guidance, I guess. And now Karen's our interior designer. So we did her job a couple of years ago, and Karen's part of our team now that works with our clients at a complimentary sort of service, and really helps them to bring their dreams to life from an interior design perspective as well. So whilst we are two guys that are out there doing a good job as builders, we're also sort of dragging people along the way into our business.
I think in the short space of time that we've been able to meet and talk to each other, what's clear coming out of your business from my perception is you understand and recognize where your strengths are, and where this is the time that we need to outsource it or go grab that resource from somewhere else and pull it together. And that's really important.
I think so, yeah. Dan and I are a great voice of reason for each other. We often have big ideas individually, and once we put them together, we kind of mold that into something that's probably the actual right solution, whether it's outsourcing a particular trade or a particular scope of works. We are a good sounding board for each other, and we like to we like to think everything considered, both opinions on the table, what we end up doing is the right solution for the business. And I think there's a lot of clients out there that will say we're doing things right as well, which is very rewarding.
It is, and that's probably the most rewarding part of your job as a builder, to hear those testimonials and feedback. Now, you mentioned that first job, that chimney.
Yep.
Where did it go from there?
I guess from we both had a lot of experience in the industry, but not a great deal of experience running our own business. So
it's completely different, isn't it?
It is different, yeah. Different. The buck stops with you. Your phone's always on. you always want, you always want to make sure the clients are satisfied no matter where they are in their journey. So my passion is the client journey. Dan's passion is the quality. So I kind of have tried to improve things every job, if you like, year after year for the client. I'm trying to think, if I was a client, what more would I want from a process? I think we can we owe a lot of our success to that sort of client relationship, that we pride ourselves on trying to achieve. Dan's a family man. I'm a family man. A lot of our clients are family people, young families. It's just what we enjoy, and I think that comes across, and I think that helps a lot. We're working for people at the same. We can relate to them.
Yeah, being relatable. I think that's the key term that you mentioned.
Yeah.
There. Being relatable and understanding how that particular client is feeling, or what's going on in their lives at that point in time, because building anything is quite stressful.
Yeah, that's the other thing we want. We want our clients to have confidence that, like, they're making a big investment, right? We want our clients to have confidence that, we're going to tick all the boxes. We're not just going to be good builders and good quality, providing good quality. We're going to, help them enjoy the journey along the way, whether it's by getting Karen involved to help them with their design decisions, or whether it's having me there with regular communication and regular updates and regular meetings. Hopefully it gives them the peace of mind. They're going to get value for money and get a good job and be satisfied and happy at the end of it. Because a lot of people are overwhelmed by the thought of building their dream home or renovating and stuff like that. And I don't know, we try and take a little bit of that out of it.
Try and conceptualize the process and make it a bit easier by walking them through it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, holding their hand, so to speak, and making it fun.
What's a typical work week like for you guys?
For Dan, most days he's on site. 5 days a week he's on site. Me, I try and split myself between sites, clients, and office work. So Mondays and Wednesdays are typically my office days. Try and get a lot of the paperwork side of things done, whether it's a quote or invoicing or general bookwork or HR stuff. And the other days I sort of spread myself between sites and dealing with Dan and dealing with clients and meeting with clients. And even Fridays is sort of like a day where I try and go and see prospective clients for the first time. So yeah, it's the things that I do are many and varied, but it's fun. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Now, how many employees do you have now with your team?
Yeah, right now we've got 4, me and Dan included. It's just a little business model that works really well for us. 4 employees, but a whole suite of trades and support sort of businesses that help us get to where we are.
And what about projects? Like what sort of projects do you guys cover?
So in this day and age, I guess you can say we've come a long way since the chimney job, but we're about to start a nice job, a new home for a lovely couple on the water down at Belmont. So we're looking forward to working on that over the next 12 months. We've just finished renovation at Redhead, coming to the end of one at Merriweather for a nice young family, and looking at a few others around town, which are similar sort of, alts and ads and anything, renovations.
Yeah, so like renovations, alterations, additions, and new homes. So the whole residential mix, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we don't want to do the $5 million house on the beach. It's not where we're at. We've really focused our business on alterations and additions and those new homes, custom homes, sort of up to $1.5 million. I guess is how we might summarise it and put a value on it. Yeah.
I think that's important, where you mentioned before about knowing the sweet spot and where to stay within that, and where you guys, the clientele that you relate to, and that problem solving and holding people's hands throughout the journey. So it's good that you recognise that as well and know that sort of sphere to stay within.
Yeah, whilst we don't have like an ideal model of a client, we certainly, one of the criteria that Dan and I can both relate to, we know where they're at in their journey. We all want to achieve similar things. They want quality in a good, enjoyable process. And we want to be able to provide that. So,
how do you guys, being a team, how do you and Dan sort of catch up? Like, do you have like a formal meeting every week, or do you touch base? Like, how do you actually do that?
Yeah, so every Friday we catch up formally, informally. We spend the day sort of whether it's on site together or traveling around in a car, look at the different jobs that we need to look at.
So Friday is kind of your go-to day where
Yeah.
you can sort of – the thing I like about Friday is you can talk about the week that was,
Yep.
and you can plan for next week's activities.
Yeah, exactly.
As well. So it's a good day.
Yep. I wouldn't say it's every Friday religiously. Some days it might change based on our workload, but Friday's typically the day that works best for us. And we set some goals, and we sort of look at the next month, I guess, if you like, as far as what's ahead and what we need to get through to achieve those goals and keep moving forward with the business, which is good as well.
Okay, so when not building or running your business, what does Paul like to do outside of work?
3 young kids these days. Our eldest is 8 now. Emily's 6 and Indigo's nearly 4. You can imagine most of our time's taken up with doing stuff with the kids, taking them to parties, going to their sports, and doing everything in between. So, but I really love the stage of life we're at with the kids. Indigo, our youngest, is out of nappies. She's not having day sleeps. Life's coming back to us a little bit where I guess, for a big part of the last 5 years, we've been sort of bunkered down, raising young kids, working on the business, trying to build the business. So things have been busy. We feel like we're coming out the other end of that, and it's really nice feeling. Personally, I love horse racing. We've got shares in a few horses amongst a couple of mates of mine. Really enjoying everything financial and the stock market and that at the moment. It's kind of a hobby that I've sort of developed in the last 12, 18 months. And something, that's what I'm sort of doing in my downtime. I'm looking at that and researching that and learning as much as I can around that.
Yeah, it's always great to have an outlet, and you can you soon find out you can apply a similar thought process or methodology to whatever you like doing. But if you can break it up or have interesting side hustles or different hobbies, it's really enjoyable.
I guess naturally I'm a pretty organised and well planned out sort of person, which is good for our industry, I guess, and our business. As an example, I manage my son's soccer team because I just like to know things are managed well and organised properly. I guess what you do in your day-to-day work life naturally just flows over, and that's just, I don't know, I'm an organised person. I'm a good communicator. These things happen.
That's right. It falls into place. Yeah. What would you say to young people coming through the industry who are sort of contemplating a move, entering the construction industry?
It's funny you say that, Dan, and I have got a bit of a passion for sort of not coaching, but more or less mentoring and guiding a couple of young guys in the moment that are sort of up and coming, want to be builders. We get a real kick out of that. What I say to them is, you got to not focus on having the big cars and the flashy utes and all the greatest tools. It's more about putting your money into building your little business, and getting the experience. Don't be sidetracked by the big bright lights. A lot of people think that being a builder, you're the man, but it's not like that at all. And if you're going to be successful builders, you're on the wrong track. So just try and keep a level head on the field, keep them humble. Tell them what they've got to focus on. Getting eligibility for homeowner warranty insurance. That's one of the hard things.
It's extremely difficult, and the only way to, I guess, get there in the end is to increase your turnover and maintain your profitability, because that's basically what they want to see. They being an insurance scheme set by the government, they want the people that obtain home warranty insurance to be around. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a ticket to just burn money.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess whilst I think a lot of lessons you got to learn yourself, make mistakes yourself, I try and point out all the things that we've learned along the way. What sort of alarm bells you should be looking out for potential clients that aren't going to be good clients, and what sort of jobs you should quote or how you should quote a job, things you got to allow for in jobs that you mightn't think of. Trying to just educate them around all that sort of stuff where we've learned the hard way, I guess. Trying to save them making similar mistakes. Yeah, the biggest piece of advice would just be stay humble and work hard, and go. Don't try and take your business where you think it needs to go or where you other people would want to see you. Just take it where you want it to go. Do what you want in your business. You know, you might be better. You might be able to take your ideas and be better at it than anyone else or anyone else's thoughts. Certainly take a lot of advice from people, but do your own thing.
And I think that's equally important when you see, you mentioned the word showy, not being too showy. And that's one of the, I guess, mistakes in the building industry is people seeing things online or driving past the site and making a certain assumption about that builder or where they've come from. It's nothing but hard work. So it's so important to know where your strengths lie in the whole puzzle, I guess.
It's hard to find that balance as well. You want to promote your business. You want to put off, you want it to have a good presence out there in the industry. But you don't want to show it off too much. You know what I mean? Quite often we have the comments made to us, like we post stuff on Instagram. We post the good stuff on Instagram. Quite often people think it's all rainbows and unicorns, but you have to quickly tell them that there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Just last week, Dan and I were crawling around in the mud underneath the house, looking at each other, laughing, going, "What have we done to be here?" But we love showcasing, obviously, the stuff that we build at the end of the day. But we're also, it's about, I guess, getting better at showing people the whole journey as well, because it's not always as glitzy and glamorous as people might think.
And that comes back to what you said about just good old-fashioned relationships, and that ties in with the theme of this podcast. It's about the relationships and the people that are behind those glamorous images that you mentioned. And I think the wonderful thing about your business is you have that practical aspect going on day to day, but you're able to have that personable relationship with the client, or equally with designers or consultants. So you can pick up that slack and fill that void. And sitting here recording this podcast, you feel completely comfortable knowing Dan's on site running the job and making sure that quality is right. Yeah,
exactly. And I guess another comment that I'd make that Dan and I sort of are equally sort of passionate about is whilst you can have the best employees, earning good money, you're never going to have as good an impact as someone who's invested in the business. You know, no matter how good the employee is, if you're invested in the business, you've just got that next level of desire and passion for it. You know, so that just gives Dan and I that extra bit of reassurance that I'm in here doing the right thing by the business, and I know he's out there doing the right thing by the business. You know, where it's a relationship with employees that you can't quite grasp or can't quite get that confidence out of. A lot of good employees out there, don't get me wrong, but having
it's really hard though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And at the same time, Dan and I have got a pretty similar vision in where we want the company to head, similar passion for how we want it to be managed and run and whatnot. It's hard to educate employees or other people with that vision, you know. So having two of us trying to take the business in the direction we want is just helpful. Yeah,
and that's the inherent nature of the construction industry, because it is so fragmented.
Yep,
you've got a lot of subbies, and then so naturally, I guess, training or engaging employees or tradies or subbies.
Yep,
it is a little difficult.
It is, mate. Yeah, and we spent a lot of time over the last 5 years or since we started, really building our trade base, and largely based on having owner operators working in the business as tradesmen. Because again, if you're the owner of a business, you're out, you know, and you're an electrician, we know you're going to put more pride and effort and passion into doing a good job than, you know, someone who sends an apprentice out to do a job. You know, so we're very passionate about the trades we've built up. We're confident in the brand that we're building, which are, you know, based around those trades. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, as well, is we use the same trades on every job. We don't chop and change or, you know, tender out different trades for different jobs. Our Smartview Building brand is based around using the same trades.
Yeah, I really like what you said before, where you try and match your culture, if you like. So your culture is working with businesses and clients who have similar values.
Yep,
and
definitely.
And you do get sick of people talking about their values at times because it can be overcooked.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to, I think, is what you're getting at is culture. And so recognizing that your brand under Smartview Building has a culture of having that personable relationship with your trades, your client, and you want to carry that equally amongst your trades to make sure that their culture is aligned with your culture.
Yeah, exactly. And comparing that to clients as well, some clients we just don't feel like are a good fit for us, you know. So whilst we don't like to be arrogant about it, we just thanks but no thanks, take the thanks but no thanks kind of approach to some jobs because it's not the right fit for one of a number of reasons, possibly. But
and that comes with experience too, of knowing your gut instinct when you're dealing with a client and just saying, well, look, I'm not sure about this client. We're not on the same wavelength here.
Yep, and it's not a perfect science either, you know. Some jobs that you think might not be as fun a job or as interesting a job or as satisfying a job at the start ends out one of your favourite jobs. So
and they're always a nice surprise, aren't they?
It is a nice surprise, yeah. So it's I guess we're in the market at the moment. We're lucky enough to be able to try and attract clients that fit into our culture. And I guess we're lucky enough at the moment that that's been the case more often than not, and really enjoying it. Like those clients, 90% of the time end up friends and or contacts and clients for years to come. So that's a real icing on the cake for Dan and I. We like that.
That's so true about those relationships that end up going from a transactional type relationship and they end up being good friends or people amongst the community.
It's just a natural process too. I think at the start of a relationship with a client, they're maybe a little bit skeptical about whether you actually do have their best interest at heart. Where that comes from, I'm not quite sure. Maybe builders of the past have sort of created that sort of theme. I don't know, but it's nice to see clients quickly come to realise when they're using us that we actually do have their best interest at heart. And when the light bulb sort of comes on, the relationship changes, and I think then they're sort of enjoying the process, and from there it's pretty satisfying for them, which is rewarding for us.
What's it like looking back now on the journey when you and Dan sort of set out to meet and catch up, have a few beers, talk about this vision moving forward? What's it like looking back now on that?
Yeah, it's good. I guess from when we first started the industry to when Dan and I met to when we started the business to where we are now, I don't think either of us realised that we'd be as far advanced as we are, and that makes us pretty happy, reflecting on all that, because we're quite proud of what we've achieved, and we're looking forward to what we've got ahead of us. So the journey's going to continue, and we're hopefully going to keep getting better at things, and we've got a few little exciting things coming up in the near future that we're keen to explore. We're going to do a few jobs of our own, and that sort of keeps the passion ignited as well.
So you're naturally going to take that step from not only builder but also property developer as well.
Yeah, and that's something that I've wanted to do since I first come into the industry. I've always had a not so much a flair for property development, but a real interest in it. How you can get the highest and best use out of a site. But what Dan and I want to do, people are coming to know the quality that we built, and obviously that quality is largely for our clients to enjoy. What we want to do is renovate and do up some homes of our own, and put them on the market for clients to come and enjoy. So we don't want to build multi-unit townhouses or anything like that. We want to build quality custom homes for people, which have our tag on them and our quality all over them, and hopefully we'll get some success out of that as well.
Nathan Gill from Automated Innovation mentioned in one of our earlier shows about learning to stay in your own lane, and I think you've touched on it several times throughout our chat about just knowing where you fit in and keeping within your brand and what you want to sort of work towards.
Yeah, I think that all relates to what we enjoy doing as well. We're not experienced in building big property development projects, so we sort of wouldn't say we enjoyed either because we've never really been there. So what we enjoy doing is what we're doing now. The difference will be we get to do a few for ourselves, really add our own personal touches. And we're looking forward to that journey.
People listening to this want to get into contact with yourself or Dan from Smartview Building. What's the best way to go about it?
Look, I'm always up to date with our social media stuff, so you can contact us through our social media avenues, or you can fill in a form on our website, or you can give me a call. My number's all over the websites and social media. So I pride myself on answering my phone whenever it rings. If someone sends me a text message, it's a bit of a joke amongst my friends, actually. Like, I'm always really quick to respond, but that's just who I am, you know.
I think you're just sitting down on the lounge with your phone.
Yeah,
when you just it's your service.
Yeah,
you pride yourself on that
yeah,
quick
exactly.
reply.
And I don't know, whether it's inherent sort of thing of being sort of an organised person, but I just think if I'm spending $500,000 on a home renovation with someone, I need someone at the other end of the phone, and that's the kind of approach I take, you know. So if I need to be contacted, I'm there for them.
And that's the difference with your business and how you run it. Whereas a lot of other businesses where the builder might be on the tools or on the job, he's really only answering the phone at smoko or lunchtime or after work or before. But I guess that's the attraction of your Smartview Building company.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said earlier, I think we just tick all those boxes for clients. We do all of them well. We don't just half do some of them. And, you know, like you say, we are contactable all the time. We're passionate about what we're doing. And I think it shows.
All right, Paul. Well, I say this every week, but just being able to sit down and have these genuine conversations with people like yourself, to hear about the people behind the scenes, and it's really interesting to hear the inside story, and really looking forward to seeing your journey continue on into the future. So, well done.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. It's been great to give back what we can, and credit to you and what you're doing with Build Hatch. So, thanks again.
No worries. Thanks, Paul. Well, that was another episode of Build Hatch with Paul Smart from Smartview Building. What I really enjoyed by sitting down and talking with Paul is these guys both recognised early on that they would separate their home lives from their family lives. That is certainly not an easy thing to do. As usual, please check out our Instagram, where you'll be able to learn more about our guests and the features of their project that we talk about. Have a great week, and you'll hear me again on the airwaves next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of Build Hatch.
You have experienced a Build Hatch developed production.